In China, many single women in their 30s face difficulties finding partners. Men often prefer younger brides, believing they are more fertile and adaptable. Career-focused women who prioritize education and independence may find themselves rejected by men seeking less ambitious partners. I'm 33 years old, already balding and graying, still unmarried with no partner. Every day is just a monotonous routine between my rented room and the company. My only hobby now is coming to the park after work, sitting alone in a daze, watching people walk their kids or stroll around, unsure where my life is headed. I feel so lonely. Turning 30 really feels like hitting a wall, but where exactly is this wall? In a man's mind, the difference between 30 and 31 is simply whether he's even willing to meet you. Yes, it's that ridiculous. To men, women over 30 are all lumped together under the label leftover women. And as you know, society is incredibly harsh towards so-called leftover women. As a woman, it genuinely upsets me, but there's not much I can do to change it. For women who want to get married, my advice is, don't wait too long. Last night, while I was eating alone, I suddenly had a stomachache and broke out in a sweat. I lay in the bathroom for a long time. At that moment, I felt like I was conscious but couldn't move. I couldn't even open my eyes. My phone was right next to me, but I didn't even have the strength to pick it up and reply to a message. After lying there for a long time, I crawled back to bed and fell asleep. Now, thinking back, I feel a bit scared. What if I had really lost consciousness and no one had found me? This kind of dilemma of being single at an older age is becoming more and more obvious. I still don't think I can just marry some guy because of this, but I really do wonder, what should I do in the future? Can you really find a better husband after divorce? I think it's unlikely. Some sisters might argue, that's not true. I know so-and-so who remarried and is much happier now. But let me tell you, what you're seeing is just the surface. Unless the woman was widowed and had no choice but to remarry after losing her partner, those who divorced and remarried often don't end up with someone better than their ex. What I'm about to say might offend many remarried sisters, but hear me out and see if it makes sense. First, pride often plays a big role for divorced women. Even if they're unhappy, they'll pretend everything is perfect in front of others, because they're afraid of being judged. They especially dread their ex's family thinking, she'll never be happy with anyone, as if the failed marriage was entirely her fault. So, they put on a show, making it seem like they've found true love. Second, as women age and gain life experience, their perspectives shift. It's not necessarily that their new husband is better, it's that they've learned to tolerate more. They let things slide, stop nitpicking, and focus on practical benefits. As long as the new husband provides financially, they overlook the rest. Romance and affection? No longer a priority. But deep down, they know their current husband falls short in many ways compared to their ex. Some even silently regret the divorce, but what's done is done. They settle. So, my remarried sisters, think about it. Isn't this the reality? Put another way, have you become better at managing your husband? You're more mature, more pragmatic, whether it's for his money, his treatment of you, or how he cares for your children. You've grown more calculated, more strategic. The way you act around your new husband is completely different, no more tantrums, no more demands. You're intentionally working to make this marriage succeed. Late at night, you might even reflect, if I'd acted this way before, maybe I wouldn't have divorced. At least my child could have kept a complete family. But there's no undo button in life. If you agree, leave a comment to show your support. I'm not shaming remarriage. I just want to remind sisters considering divorce, think carefully. Don't take that step lightly, because remarriage is rarely as rosy as you imagine. I'm 52 now, and I'm so grateful I didn't divorce in my 30s. Today, I'm truly happy, and my son often thanks me for it. Nothing compares to the pure joy of a family staying together.
Hello, 我第一次录视频。
Hey, this is my first time recording a video. I want to share some interesting things about my blind date yesterday. Yesterday, I went on a blind date with a guy born in 1987. He's from our town, and we were introduced by an auntie. Yesterday afternoon, we added each other on WeChat and had a pretty pleasant chat. In the evening, we arranged to meet up for dinner at Wanda Plaza. I arrived first, and he showed up shortly after. We decided to eat upstairs, and he suggested Korean barbecue. Well, he didn't even ask what I wanted to eat, he just picked up his phone and ordered himself. During the meal, we chatted for over an hour. After eating, we took a walk around the plaza and talked about general things. He mentioned something that made me feel a bit, well, his eldest sister's daughter is actually the same age as me. It suddenly hit me how old I am. The conversation during dinner was pleasant, and when we left, I told him to stay safe. I said, "Take care, next time I'll treat you to a meal." I thought to myself that I shouldn't take advantage of him. Since he paid this time, I'd pay next time. Then we went our separate ways, and that was it. When I got home, I texted him saying, "I'm back, have you gotten home?" He replied after a while, "Yeah, I'm back." Later, I thought this guy wasn't very enthusiastic, maybe he wasn't interested in me. So I didn't think much of it. Then this morning, I got a WeChat message from him. He said, "I'm sorry, but I don't think we're a good match." Alright then. I didn't reply, and I just deleted his contact. The reason I'm recording this video is to say, at the right age, you should get married early. Otherwise, by the time you reach my age, people might not be interested in you, and you might not be interested in them either. After all, at my age. In reality, I'm already considered very advanced maternal age. If I were to have a child now, I'd be a high-risk pregnancy. I don't mean anything else by it, I just think it's better to marry early and have kids early. Whatever you're supposed to do at a certain age, do it as soon as possible. Bye-bye.
我绝对不会找已经买了房。
Absolutely won't consider a girl who already owns a home. These were the exact words a guy born in 1989, who owns a car and a house, said to me. I introduced him to a girl with similar conditions, but he immediately rejected her upon hearing she owned a home. I asked him why, and he told me that if a girl in her 20s has already bought a house, she must have exhausted her savings and might have even borrowed money from her parents. The house would be hers, but the burden of the mortgage would fall on both of them. If they had a child later and he might lose his income, all the financial pressure would land on him alone. More importantly, if they argued, he could still go back to his own house, but for marriage, this poses too much risk. Besides, he already has his own home and sees no point in living in hers. What do you all think? Isn't his way of thinking a bit unique?
我今年34岁了。
I'm 34 years old and still not married. Half the year has already passed, and every day repeats the same routine, shuttling between home and work. It's been like this for many years. Aside from the occasional introductions from family, I really don't know how to find a partner. Blind dates usually end after a quick meeting. To outsiders, the reason I'm still unmarried is that I'm too picky, but that's simply not true. Men and women are equal. While you're choosing others, they're also choosing you. Sometimes fate plays a big role, but maybe not everyone is destined to have that kind of luck. When you're cooking for yourself, appearance doesn't matter much. I made extra and froze them for days when I don't feel like cooking.
有一个大龄女生
Another older single woman regrets her choices. Yesterday, a woman born in the 1990s came to our office. After registering, she opened up to me and shared her thoughts. She said that when she was younger, she was too much of a perfectionist. Back then, relatives and friends introduced her to many well-suited men, but she always found something lacking. Either their looks weren't quite up to her standards or their circumstances weren't ideal. She kept waiting, believing her Prince Charming would eventually come along. But as a result, she ended up aging out of her prime dating years. What used to be her picking and choosing men has now turned into men picking and choosing, or outright rejecting her. Nowadays, if a man hears she's 34 and still unmarried, many won't even give her a chance to get to know them. They just refuse outright. The only ones willing to meet her now are men she wouldn't have even glanced at when she was younger. At this point, she feels lucky just to meet someone halfway decent. All those great guys from before? They're all married with kids now. Meanwhile, she's still single and full of regrets. She said she's now willing to meet anyone who's halfway suitable, just to get married as soon as possible. She doesn't dare delay any longer, worried that it might even become difficult to have children later on. So whether you're a man or a woman, once you miss the golden age for matchmaking, finding the right person becomes extremely hard.
香港嗰啲大齡未婚嘅女
Middle-aged unmarried women in Hong Kong are slowly starting to regret their choices. Recently, I've been matchmaking for many women in their 40s in Hong Kong, and they all say the same thing. When they were younger, they had many suitors and were introduced to plenty of potential partners. But back then, their standards were too high and they didn't give anyone a chance. In the blink of an eye, they've gotten older. Now the people they meet through matchmaking can't compare to those from before. The ones from back then either had better conditions, are already married, or now prefer younger women. One lady told me that at 39, she's desperate to get married before turning 40. She's even hoping to have a baby or even two before menopause. She's filled with regret now. If she met someone with decent enough conditions today, she'd want to marry quickly, just so her parents wouldn't have to worry about her anymore. To all the fans watching this, if anyone's interested in learning more, feel free to reach out.
20岁到30岁
From the age of 20 to 30, I think for girls, finding a compatible and highly suitable marriage partner is more important than focusing on your career. A woman's youth is very short. From 20 to 30, you should date, keep dating. If someone isn't the right fit, move on quickly. With 10 years, you'll eventually find the right one. Don't prioritize your career so much during this time. By the time you're 30, 40, or 50, you'll still have 3 or 4 decades ahead to build your career. Love and marriage should come first. If by then you still haven't found someone, then you can gradually shift your focus to your career. Otherwise, you might end up like me, throwing yourself entirely into work when I was young. Now, even though I have a house, a car, and education, it feels like I'm back at square one, still single, stuck in that same struggling, unattractive phase of life. Honestly, if I had found a truly suitable partner when I was younger and worked hard together with him, maybe by now at 34 I'd have a house, a car, education, a husband, and children. But instead I only have half of that. And the journey here has been incredibly tough.